Good morning. Well, it's morning here as you're watching this. Courtney Hicks, Magic 102.3. We are hanging out, baby. And I don't know if Faith remembers this, but there's this old little situation in Chicago. And she was like one of my first guests ever at this new radio station. And she was so sweet and patient and kind. And I'm excited to have her back. It's all about Faith Evans. Hello, dear.
How you doing?
Welcome to DC.
Thank you. And you know I was over here about to pick my brain because I'm like, I don't think I knew you from DC. But
right.
Okay.
It was Chicago.
Okay.
It was Chicago. We had a good time. And you were just so sweet and just down to earth.
Thank you.
And I still feel that same energy. Talk a little bit about how do you maintain music being so important to you? You got motherhood and the whole wifey thing going on. Is it a juggle, a struggle to maintain your love and to put music, continue to put music first? Or how does it work? How does it fit nowadays with everything else going on? Or is it just kind of natural still?
Yeah, exactly. I don't, really have to fit. Music is a part of my life either way. Whether I'm working on an album or not, my kids are all very musically inclined, and I mean, it's something that I've just been blessed to have as a gift that people know me by. But I just kind of take every day as it comes and try to hope everything falls and pray that everything falls into the place the right way,
Speaking of your kids, I remember the oldest, China. So she's singing now? She must
China,
be a young lady, a teen?
She's 17.
Yes!
She's going to college next year. She's a writer, producer.
Really?
She wants to major in music, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Knowing some of the, trials and tribulations and some of your struggles, some of the good, some of the not so good. How do you feel about her going in that direction? Or do you feel because you've been through it and been in it, you can guide her a little better, not so she won't make, some of the same mistakes?
Definitely.
Maybe?
She, having, done that before, but that doesn't necessarily mean she'll end up being a recording artist.
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
maybe she does want to, maybe she will, but she has such she has a lot of knowledge in terms of like just the different elements of it, the programming, the production, not just the performance side. So, but she's also a very bright student. So hopefully she'll minor in something non-music, because that part comes so easily,
Yeah.
But no, I mean whatever. As long as my kids keep their grades right, then
they could do.
I'll be supportive.
I heard that.
I'm not trying to make no child stars or nothing like that. I mean, outside of the little couple of acting jobs that CJ got, but we gotta focus more on school.
Sure. And a lot of people might not be aware. Now I read the credits on all the albums and everything, and a lot of people, you talking about your daughter writing and stuff. A lot of people might not be aware that you've penned a lot of your songs, and that's why those lyrics stick and they're so personal. How important is it for you to be behind the scenes as well? Is it? Do you think you're able to express it better when it comes from you, whether it coming from versus it coming from another writer or something like that?
Actually, not, because over time I've actually made it a habit to try and work with different writers. I mean, that's how people start to know my name. I may have wrote a couple of lines on a song, one of them Usher or Mary songs, but my name being in that credit, and it sort of definitely helped to build awareness of who I was when I came out with my project. So I try and help people get on in that way too. Whether they're a writer, whether they're a musician, producer, vocalist. If I have, if there's something that I have where I can use them, and then that's the way I can also share my knowledge too.
Sure.
Which is my next book. I'm going to work on another book that's kind of like a informational companion, so to speak, from the artist, writer, producer perspective.
Yeah. And speaking of the writers and producers, who have you been working with as you embark upon this new project? Anybody in particular? Did you consciously stick to the same formula? Did you reach out for some different people for a different sound?
No, I definitely wasn't looking for a different sound, but I knew that I wanted to work with Chucky Thompson again.
Yeah,
shout out to Chucky. So he ended up doing like 5 songs on this album, actually one of which I wrote 10 years ago. We were still working on my second Bad Boy album. But it was such a special song, and it it wasn't complete. You know, I didn't have the right idea who I wanted to feature on it, but he redid the music and it gave it a whole new life, and the song is still relevant. The song "Troubled World" on my new album, which is in stores now and online.
We'll have to go pick it up. We have to go pick it up. You just mentioned a Bad Boy in those days. Any don't want to say maybe regrets or anything that you would have done differently, or is it hard to sort of kind of, you know, everybody wants to continue to attach you to that? And that was a great movement. I think it was just much more than a label. It was a movement. I mean, you guys really changed the course of that hip hop R&B marriage. But is it a situation where you don't mind the constant affiliation, or do you think it's something that hinders you, or?
I don't.
No.
I mean, like you said, it was a movement, and to have been a part of it, to have been a part of the beginning of it, and know what, you know, it was like really family back then. Like every employee was Puff's, you know, somebody grew up with, went to school with. I mean, we all were really party hard together, you know, fight together. But no, it's a part of what makes me the artist I am, having been a part of that. I mean, not only did it, you know, bring awareness to who I was, but, you know, I think that my talent speaks for itself. So, you know, it's definitely not something I feel overshadowed by at all, because I'm not on Bad Boy. I haven't been for years, but I still have those Faith Evans fans out there who, you know, who still love what I do musically.
Absolutely. The Notorious movie. Your thoughts on that? The way you portrayed, was it accurate? Did you have some say so in it, or?
Well, just to the extent
that
everybody
young lady sung very well.
Yeah, I think they did a great job. Antonique Smith, who played me, definitely, that was totally authentic, because she's from where I'm from.
Okay,
too, so,
okay.
Yeah.
So she had it naturally.
But they did a good job. I mean, I didn't expect anything but that. I mean, people, you know, that's a question I'm asked a lot. How did I feel about how I was portrayed? But I mean, it was pretty, you know, pretty much how it really is. It is what it is, and I mean, there were minor cinematic moments that they may have changed a minor detail just for purposes of it being a movie. But yeah, I think they did a great job at encompassing the person that Big was beyond the music, and why all of us that knew him, you know, loved him for different reasons, you know.
So we're sitting here having this interview. Is this who are we missing out here? I want to see. I can press a button here and we'll make it really special. And we're sitting here watching. This is the Wendy Williams show.
Causing, hoping that things would change, but you never gave me that option. There's so many things you don't do to make me overlook the wrong. This is not the way that love should be. I guess you're not the man.
Sing, girl. Is it hard to watch yourself?
Well, I'm sitting here critiquing my shirt, looking like I got rolls in my stomach.
I was mad when you did that because that top stick was showing that flew off your jacket that the lady did.
See, folks, you're getting behind the scenes look at what entertainers are concerned about the look. But you sound fabulous. I think you look great. I wanted to ask you, you've always been so open about your mistakes. You know, you were talking to Wendy, she asked you about the DUI, and then lyrically sometimes your lessons that you've learned in life, they'll come up lyrically in a lot of your songs. Is that like therapeutic for you, or you just want to take it in your own hands and you talk about it instead of having a lot of these gossip sites? You know, this gossip thing is real big nowadays. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely best to be able to hear something from the horse's mouth, but I mean, that doesn't necessarily always do anything to squash whatever other speculations people have anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's probably why I don't make it my habit to be like, oh, I gotta, you know, nah, you don't, you know, you can't. You can't satisfy everybody, but I do try and address things in a way where, like, you know, even with my book, like I said, if I ever really talk in detail about this type of stuff, it'll be when I write my life story, you know. Or so, you know, I try and do things in little, in ways like that that are not so, like I just gotta always give you my little 2 cents on something. You know?
Sure. How excited are you about the whole Flo Ballard biopic? I'm from Detroit, so I'm totally familiar with that whole story.
Okay.
And that's so excited, and I'm so excited for her family that they're finally able to allow her story to be told. I think the Unsung on TV One, who's actually a sister company of ours, kind of really started the curiosity with that, and I'm excited for you.
Yeah,
you ready to get your Oscar on?
I mean, you know, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm definitely.
Well, the similarities are there. When I was watching, I was like, she looks like you remind me of her, you know. And then she was always the one, from what I understand from my mom and stuff, with that voice. And you definitely have the look and the voice. I'm excited for you. Has pre-production started, or?
No, actually, I have to go. I'm gonna go to Detroit and meet her family, and you know, do a little tour of you know the stuff that we're gonna be, you know, the neighborhood and the Motown stuff. But we actually start production in January.
Okay. Okay. God bless you on that project.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, the album is out in stores now. Something About Faith, gone already. The first single, you heard it being done quite nicely on the Wendy Williams show. We just appreciate you coming by and hanging out with us.
Thank you. Good to
you're
see
definitely
you again.
One of my personal favorites.
Thank you.
Always have been. I think you remind me a lot of and you've said this before, a lot of Karen Clark Shear. I grew up with all the Clark sisters and Jimmy Ross, and just your whole, when I first heard you, your styling, and I was like, this chick's from the church. I've been listening to some church folks, so you've always been a favorite of mine, and I think there's just many more great things in store. Travel safe, and enjoy Detroit.
I will.
They'll definitely give you some
so
love.
Cold.
Yeah. That's all. Let me tell you, the technology is amazing.
Okay.
Have you had to like change the way you go about doing you as far as getting your music out there? I mean, it's just so wide open. I mean, look at you singing this song. This girl did this song and put it on the internet. Everybody's talking about It's So Cold in the Deep. It's amazing. That's how Soulja Boy got his start.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it hasn't necessarily, I wouldn't say affect how I go about making music and really, you know, but I definitely was very protective this time, like with the people I'm in business with. They want to get, you know, I'm like, I'm not giving y'all nothing, or I'll be hearing it way too soon. But you know, then again, you gotta kind of play the game a little bit too and kind of feed people's curiosity. For me, it had been so long, you know, without having a record out. So you know, ultimately I started tossing them like, okay, here you go, you got this right here.
This download leak thing, it's all in the timing and the strategy.
It is.
Yeah. You travel safe. Thanks
Thank
to
you.
your people for
Thanks
bringing
for
it
having
out.
me.
My
It's so good
pleasure.